And yeah, good evening, good evening. It's another Monday and it's another We Are Talking About You. And today we've got Leslie Stevens again with us. And I just leave it run for a little moment before we start because a few times we had a little bit of catch up to do on camera. So it was just a blank screen in my voice. But while we are doing that, we already spoken to Leslie a few weeks ago, maybe a month actually it might be, and we thought, oh, there's so much to give you, so much information to give you that we have to meet again, and that's what we're doing tonight. But if you want to see previous chat, it's on YouTube on Sonka Braunova channel, so head there, and there's all other amazing ladies sharing their stories, which are absolutely inspiring and encouraging, and all of them were happy to share some tips for you. So all of them are there on a YouTube. And today, actually, we've got, again, it's mood and food. We are continuing with that conversation because we just didn't feel we told you everything we wanted to, and didn't want to keep you for more than an hour. So we are back, and actually it works really well because we've got a mental health a week this week, between 10th and 16th of May. So I have to admit, we were going to pretend it was all prepared and we were so organized that it actually worked out, but it wasn't. It was a lovely coincidence, if there is such a thing. And the topic we've chosen for today actually works absolutely amazingly, because we will be talking about stress resilience. So no, we won't be telling you about you have to go and remove all your stress from your life because otherwise it's impossible to manage. We will tell you what you can do, what's in your control, so you can actually build that resilience and go, wouldn't it be amazing? Okay, so hello Leslie, thank you very much for coming on again with me. I'm really excited about this one because it's not a topic which is talked about a lot. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk about this. Thank you so much for having me again. This is probably one of my favorite things to talk about because it allows people to be empowered to take back their power. Whereas, like, over the last year, even far longer than the last year, we've been giving away our power to all of the external stressors in our lives, and we feel like so much is out of our control. But when we break it down, we have so many decisions that are within our power to make that can just make our bodies stronger to handle stress in a healthier way. Because we can't just be surviving, walking around, hoping for the best every day and trying to just be zen and put ourselves in a place of, oh, I don't experience stress. Like, stress is not a what if it happens. It's a when is it going to happen? And for most of us, it's more often than not. So we have to really arm ourselves with the tools to take it on in a healthy way.
Absolutely, and we've got so many ways of doing it, and we'll be talking a little bit of what to do and also what not to do, to kind of build that body resilience. So as I said, when the stress come along, don't get me wrong, you may not just ignore it and kind of being completely apathetic to it, but it's just it won't be that last drop to push you over the edge, because you'll have so much more capacity to deal with whatever is happening. Because if you do what we will suggest for you to do, you'll remove the stress which you don't need to be adding to your life. And it's amazing, isn't it? So let's start. What shall we start with? Because we've got so many things. So it will be exercise, it will be food, it will be toxins. And I know some of these people heard. So shall we start with exercise? What do you think? It's your niche. So let's start with that, because exercise is for me. I have to do it. I'm doing it twice a week. Thank you very much.
Yay!
So handing over.
So exercise can actually go like one of two ways. And I see people approach exercise in different ways, where some people use it as stress relief, and it's a really powerful stress reliever for some people. And then some people overuse exercise, and that actually stresses out their body. So there's of course, that word balance that comes in the health and wellness industry. It's just finding your flow with exercise. So if you can find yourself in a healthy place where, yes, you might be stressed out, so it might feel like a little bit more work to get a workout in, you're physically releasing tension in your body when you're allowing yourself to exercise. And not only when you exercise, you produce those feel-good hormones. So afterwards, you're feeling less stress. Yep. You're releasing all sorts of different kinds of hormones that help you feel relaxed afterwards. It's just getting through that stressful period of exercise that makes it feel
done
hard.
And over with.
Yeah, just knock it out. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like if you can find something you enjoy, like dancing around, something with music to it, or just even a quick 30-minute like yoga or circuit training, something like that.
Walk, if you've got any, and a brisk walk, so you can still talk, but you can feel your heart rate rising. So that's really a good one, and something I do daily.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do we know, Leslie, when we are doing it for the way that it benefits us, and how do we know that we are actually over exercising?
So some really great ways to tell if you are over exercising is it will start to impact your appetite as well as your sleep. So for some people, it can Yeah. So for some people, it can overstimulate their appetite if you just feel like you can't stop eating. Like you're so hungry, you have cravings that are just, they can't be satisfied. That may be a signal. That could be a signal of just stress as well. But also if you start to lose sleep, if you start to wake up in the middle of the night or you can't fall asleep, that could be another sign of overexercising. Another one is
there is two ways to balance it. You either bring the exercise a little bit down, or you start putting more fuel into your body. Is that right?
Yeah. So it would be ideal to have a consistent amount of exercise in there that's somewhere where you can maintain it. So typically, if you find yourself being in a period of over exercising, just take a break. Allow your body that time to repair. Another one of those signs is you're just constantly sore, because when you're working out, as you work out, you break down the muscle fibers. And when we refuel, that allows our body to repair that muscle so that it gets stronger. But when we keep going and we keep pushing and we don't allow that adequate time to repair and recover, then we're just breaking down, and our body can't catch up to repair it.
And that's why we've got the rest days. Those are my favorite.
Yeah, those rest days. And there are strategies of programming where you can incrementally like increase the amount of effort you put in, and then you pull back for a week, or it's even just working out a few days of the week and then taking your few rest days. But one of those things, when people get very stressed out and they use exercise as their stress relief, sometimes they don't take those rest days. Because they're like, oh, it makes me feel better afterwards, I'm going to keep going and I'm going to keep showing up and like pushing through, and it's just that extra stressor on your body. But when we're exercising consistently and we're doing it at a healthy pace, it's actually teaching your body to respond to stress in a healthy way, because it's a purposeful time for us to be putting stress on our bodies. So things like lifting weights, it will cause stress in our body. But since we do it over and over and over again, and it's a controlled choice of ours, it trains our body to be like, okay, this is a stressful situation for our body to be working out, but I know that afterwards I repair and I can handle this stress and get stronger from it. So
basically it's all every muscle, every single, because our muscles are cells, aren't they?
Yep.
And we are all built from cells. So the resilience we are teaching muscles, we are teaching our whole body. because we are, every single bit of us, you can see or not see, it's made of cell, and they communicate between each other, and they renew and they pass this information on each other, and they renew some of them very quickly as few days, some of them, but some of them 3 months, and I think we all renew like within 11 months, all new. So, and they pass this information on, so that resilience, you are teaching your body to respond in a certain way. So obviously, if you are teaching it to go for it and not give it any break, and then we are really compromising on repair, because our body will still go and repair, but if it knows it doesn't have enough time, it just does its best and tries the best, but we are not particularly getting full benefit of it. So actually maybe not helping ourselves when it comes to building resilience. Is a little bit kind of cutting corners, even if you agree.
Yeah. You definitely have to think of recovery as part of the process, because I mean, you have to recharge your phone every single day. We also have to recharge our bodies. And
it just made me check the battery. I was like, oh.
Yeah, by the end of the day, the battery's almost dead. So what do? You plug the phone in and you go to sleep. So it's the same. And
if you keep picking it up and waking and unplugging it and picking it up and buying it, it's never going to charge fully, is it? So and we work similar way. I love that analogy. It's really nice, and it takes us a little bit to food, unless you've got something else when it comes to exercise. But it takes us to food as well, because obviously, I don't know how you found it, but many people who do lots of exercise and love exercising, and many of them therefore over-exercise, but then obviously they are burning. They are burning because the muscles are the biggest kind of fat burner, if you like, or fuel burner. But also they got to the point where I can eat whatever I want because I never put on weight. And that's the measure, whether they are actually healthy or not healthy, or whether they are under the stress or they are not under the stress. So it's fueling like any other machine. You need to put the right fuel to make sure it actually runs at its optimum. And I think it brings us nicely to food and fueling our body for repair. And I think it will be interesting to say that every cell in our body is made of protein. Every cell in our body has like a cushion around it, which is made of fat. And we need and every single function requires certain cofactors like vitamins and minerals. And they are in fruit and vegetables, mainly vegetables. So imagine your vegetables, your protein, and your fat being basically what we are built of. So the repair and what we are built of is only as good as the quality of food we put in. And I don't think many people realize that, because they see it only as something, as a fuel, calories in. Do you find that as well?
Yeah, we oversimplify it, I think, sometimes, especially when it comes to food, because most people aren't paying attention to their food until they want to lose weight, or they have a goal where it has like a gain or a lose, which has to ultimately come down to your calories in, calories out. But that's so far oversimplifying food and nutrition as a whole, because like you mentioned before, there are tons of nutrients packed into them, and the quality of those nutrients impacts the quality of your energy. So you mentioned the fuel part before, so you could think about it as having like the nicest car in the world and putting like the cheapest gas or like with synthetic things in it. Like, how well is that really nice car gonna run? And we have to think of ourselves as that really nice car that we have to fuel accordingly.
What car did you be, Leslie?
That's a good question.
I don't know either. I put myself on spot there. Maybe I would go of P1. P1. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to think about this one. I don't wanna downgrade myself.
Or Mustang. Some days P1, some days Mustang. Depends.
Yeah. You can have a variety because you
Yes,
can fuel both of them.
absolutely, absolutely. As long as,
But it's once you like food works synergistically. So it has all of these different components in it. It's got its macronutrients like carbs, fat, and protein. It's got its micronutrients like your antioxidants, your polyphenols, all of those vitamins and minerals, the little things. And all in their bits and pieces. So if you were to think of it as like you were taking just like a vitamin A supplement or a vitamin C supplement, if you take it by itself, yes, it might be helpful, but if you have it in combination with all of the other factors in the food, it's going to have such more of a beneficial impact on your body than if it was just working alone. So you can think of whole food sources as being those like super powerful, high quality fuel sources instead of just the bits and pieces as well.
yeah, and it's a reason why all the vegetables and the fruit, they are all different, and why they are shaped and colored and the way they are. And even just as simple as vitamin B, as you said, if you take it as a supplement and you just pick one because you're a vegan and you want your B12, even just taking a B complex of vitamins is still better than nothing, but it still doesn't have that impact because you've got a fiber there, you've got, there's not just carbohydrates, there's not just vitamins, there are minerals, there are proteins, building blocks of proteins in a vegetable, which are amino acids. And we all need that. Mm-hmm. And I always explain it to my clients, like, imagine you've got dwarfs around your body and each cell has its own dwarf, and they know exactly, they're like that, waiting, and they know what it looks like they're waiting for. And if they are not getting it, they'll still grab something what looks similar, which is something that can be in a vitamin or beige food or whatever, and they just try the best to accommodate it and make it work. But it's never going to be the same. But when you bring this exactly what they, oh, I know exactly what it is, it's like they treasure it and run to where it's supposed to be, and it just fits perfectly. And your body doesn't have to stress about that. It's like somebody gives you a task which you've never done before. It's stressful. But when somebody asks you to do something, yeah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
There's something similar what I see happening in our body. So it's additional stress, basically, not putting real food, whole food, into our body, because we are basically made from the similar material like the food. So we are just kind of bringing the missing puzzles, what we used up, back from food. And we just want those puzzles fit as perfectly as possible.
Yeah. Like we have those specific receptors on our cells that retrieve those things. And if we're not putting the right puzzle piece in there, it's just trying to do its best to get away with the little bit that it has. Yeah, I'm trying to shove that puzzle piece in and make it fit.
And it's stressed and it doesn't work. And we all know how it is. We're trying to fit something into something that doesn't work.
Yeah, but it's so like what you said, like it's stressing our bodies out when we don't eat healthy, when we're not providing it with the energy it needs and the quality that it needs. It's stressing our body out because our body is doing its job. It's trying to keep us alive. It's trying to keep us healthy. So it's going to do what it needs to do to get us there. And that means amping up some processes, and then other processes aren't going to work as well. And honestly, we feel the effects, but most of us totally ignore them. Like we know we
get
don't
used to it, don't we? It becomes norm.
Yeah. We all have those meals where we don't feel great after them because it's like a greasy, high-fat meal. Some of us don't eat them often. Some of us eat them all the time, and we're like, oh, that's just normal to feel that way after I eat that. And it's not normal to feel that way. You have to listen to the feedback that your body is giving you. And I know in this high-paced life we all live, it's really easy to just be like, oh, I can't pay attention to that. I have other things to work on. If we paid attention to every little signal that our body gave, we would be overwhelmed. But it's it's allowing yourself to pay attention to the things that matter, because you do have control over those food choices that you make. Are you eating breakfast? Does it make you feel better when you eat breakfast, or are you fasting and that gives you more energy? I see it a lot with the people who are trying to intermittent fast lately, and they are like, I am just so starving by the time to get to lunch that they overeat on things they don't even want to eat,
And then
because
carbs and everything is additional stress because our body has more to digest and it's sudden. Yeah, and for some people, yeah, fasting on for breakfast, it works. For me, I've tried it and nearly died. I was absolutely on the floor. I was like, right, no, where is my porridge? But for some people it works, and obviously we can do complete another session on fasting, because it's absolutely amazing for repair if you do it right. If you do it right, so don't go and try yet today. We'll make it
there's a lot more to it than people like to say.
Like not eat, yeah. So removing this additional stress when stressing out the body with trying to accommodate something it doesn't recognize. Again, it's just remove, because imagine you've got those words trying to fit every single puzzle in, but it doesn't quite work, as we said. And now you've got another email coming in, another WhatsApp group, picking up children, and you name it. And now the body is either digesting something, it doesn't quite agree with it, trying to fit the things together, and then all these things can have. Obviously, there is a limit, isn't it? But imagine that your body, you're feeding and you're loving it and you're looking after it, and it's just everything is ticking over nicely. So how much more capacity you have kind of to deal with everything else, just energy itself. That's the first thing my clients, oh my god, where all this energy comes from? Food, because you are fueling your body the right way.
It's like the analogy, if you fill up like a styrofoam cup, I've done this before, and the water is like your nutrients and taking care of yourself and all of these things, and then you poke a bunch of holes in the side, and that's just like not choosing healthy foods all the time, not giving yourself the space to just take a breath during the day and like do 5 deep breaths, having other things to do, and then all of the water starts to come out the sides, and it's starting to drain all of that energy. But if you make the good choices, if you create the space, if you make the choices on the things that you do have control over, you're going to preserve so much more of that energy, and you're going to have so much more to pour into all of the things that you love and enjoy, like your family and your friends and your hobbies and whatever your passions are. It's just about making those choices for yourself. And when we're in those stressful periods, we feel like nothing is within our control and we're just trying to survive. But it only takes one good decision to really create that ripple effect of like, okay, when I go to the grocery store, instead of buying this microwave sandwich, I'm going to grab an apple and some yogurt. And it just comes down to that one decision. And it feels like work at first because it's different than what you usually do.
Like when we're learning anything, nobody is expecting you to go to German class and be fluent after one lesson.
Yeah.
And nobody would expect that, but we somehow expect that I'm going to eat healthily, and we wake up next morning and we know exactly what to do. And I don't know how it was for or for you, Leslie, when you were, because I know from the previous conversations you were an all clean, healthy eater either to start with, and neither was I. So I had to relearn how to cook. I had to relearn how to shop, and preparation of food took me ages to start with, but I just knew why I wanted to do that. And when I had that food, the feeling was addictive in a good way afterwards. It's like first time when I went a week without my tummy being bloated, like literally, like it's gonna pop any time. I was like, oh my god. I didn't even realize that this is possible. And I was so used to the feeling that when it's gone, it's like, you know, when you're last in the office and the computer switch off, that kind of calmness. And like, oh my God. So it's amazing and so worth doing. Yeah, so did we miss anything? So obviously we said people have a control over their exercise because over exercising and under eating is very stressful. Then eating and fueling our body with, let's call it, wrong things, not quite right fuel, that is very stressful because our body is trying to accommodate something it doesn't quite recognize, doesn't quite fit, and the function of the body won't be at its optimal. So anything coming in afterwards is just additional stress. Toxins. That was the third thing we were going to quickly talk about, because I think this is quite a topic people start to be quite aware. But it is very much additional stress, which can be very easily controlled just by like not heating up things in plastic, not drinking from plastic bottles, and things like toxic cleaning products. So little things. And I know for some people it may say, oh, it's just, cleaning once a week. Again, it's accumulation of stress for the body. And all these toxins, they have to be processed, don't they? So do you find it often that people actually, that's the last thing they know, they are very much aware of, but they don't give it enough power, enough significance? Is it a good word? If it's not, it's now. It is now.
We made a new word. No, I definitely
I do that all the time. I blame it on a language barrier, so it's fine. I can get away with that.
I like it. I'm adopting it. But I think that's a stage-like process. Have you heard the Amazon commercial where it's like the next take your health to the next level? I think once people reach that barrier of looking at their exercise, then looking at their food, then they look at, okay, how are these other things in my environment affecting me? Because I don't think enough people realize yet that the things we touch go into our skin. We absorb them. We have to process them. We metabolize them. How is our body processing with, okay, we're putting things physically in our body with food and water, but also we're putting things in our body with the things that are surrounding us.
Yeah. Obviously, we can't do anything about things like air pollutions in the air and things like that. Again, that goes back to eating right things. So we actually the antioxidants are working, and elimination, and the liver and kidneys are working as they should. But yeah, yes, and it is the next level. You're absolutely right, because for me, thinking back, it came very naturally to me that once I had my food sorted, first thing was, okay, plastic bottles. I changed to different plastic bottles, which apparently they were BPA free, and it was all. But obviously, there's much more into it. So glass it is these days.
Yep.
But yeah, and slowly, because I think that the one of the things I see happening quite often, it's all in or nothing. And for some people, it works perfectly because they just need to draw the line, and that's it. That's me done. But for many people, and for me, certainly it was step by step. And also with fueling my body with right fuel, kind of bringing that right exercise and being in that harmony and balance with everything, you kind of want to do more. It's just, it's something it never finishes, does it?
No.
Maybe there's always more you can do without getting obsessed about that. It's just it's always so much, and recently it's definitely for me cleaning products, even though I was cleaning with a very pure things, but still learning more. How can I do it quicker now?
But that's also a great thing to know, because there are going to be people who feel more compelled to start in different areas. So like you mentioned, some people can go all in and be great, but for most of us it's like, especially when you're stressed out, like just start with one thing. I know it's not sexy or cool, but you start with that one thing and you build that momentum. Like you said, you want to do more because you've done something really well.
Yeah.
So
The
there are
more you
some people.
connect, more excited you get about that, and it will just drive you. So don't push it, because it's so worth taking it step by step.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with the
So
human touch
somebody's gonna.
mindset, this is literally just practical,
Oh
practical
no.
stuff. You can touch, you can see, you can measure. But the mindset will be another half an hour. Made a video about that. But and yes, I think it's what we were trying to say tonight is all this is massive. All these are massive influencers of your mental health. And as we said, it doesn't have to be depression, doesn't have to be anxiety, it doesn't have to be breakdown. Just simple coping day to day things, and if you can start there before you get to those extremes, you are doing yourself such a favor. Because if you do this, I can nearly guarantee that you won't get to that breakdown, to that anxiety, to the depression, because your body is amazing what it can do to keep you above the water. And once you start communicating with it and tuning in, it tells you everything you need to know. You don't need books only for inspiration. You don't need somebody else telling you only for guidance, but you know the best. And once you tap into it, it's amazing. So all these contribute to your mental health massively. I encourage you not to underestimate the power of food, power of right exercise, and power of removing toxins from your life. And it may be even toxic people, toxic situations, saying no to things, and we can go forever. It's up to you what you choose. Right? What's the most toxic for you now, and also what's simplest for you to do now, and just start that. Is there any other tip, Leslie, you can think of to give people to go away and try?
One of the best things I think I have ever heard is do your best what you like with what you can today, and then worry about tomorrow. Because so many times we start something and we're like, oh my gosh, we have to do this for the rest of our lives. But if we just do the best with what we've got in front of us today, then that gives you so much more power. Like, you know what you can do today. And sometimes it's just one thing. And you know what? If it's just one thing you can do, that's perfect. Start
because it's
there.
already more than you would have done yesterday. So there you go, So you can do it. No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I don't think it needs adding anything else other than, do you have anything interesting coming up? I know last time you had your masterclass. Is there anything else you would like to share with us? People can do, or you are on your one-to-ones now, and people
Yeah,
can
I
sign up for
actually
those?
I am actually launching a group program at the beginning of next month. But for everybody who was listening to this, I actually put out a mini recipe book and I called it my Stressipes. So 10 recipes for strengthening your body when you're stressed out. So it's not like huge meals with grandiose kind of weird ingredients in there. It's simple, quick. There's some comfort foods, there's some chocolate foods when those sweet cravings kick in, but it's all put together in a way that has the vitamins and the minerals to keep your body strong during those times of stress.
Fantastic.
So I'll have to.
We do get the link, don't we? So we can post it under and into comments, so people can just go and download. Is that how it will work?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. Looking forward to it. I'll grab one for inspiration, because there's never enough inspiration.
All the recipes always.
I know, yes. Oh, thank you very much, Leslie. It was lovely to talk to you again. And brilliant topic. Obviously, we were prepared as ever, but it worked really, really well. And I hope that this will help loads and loads of ladies and gentlemen to de-stress their body and realize how much they've got under control. Thank you very much. Have a lovely rest of the evening or day, because it's quite early back there, isn't it?
Yep. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye.